Welcome to Lenzing Innovation at Texworld USA. My name is Erica Garcia, and I am with Lenzing New York in Business Development Marketing. This season, Lenzing is highlighting Lenzing Modal Future Black. Lenzing Modal is not only about softness, but about long-lasting color. We are also featuring the sustainable denim wardrobe for Carved in Blue, our latest specialty fiber Refibra lyocell, and Tencel for bed linen in home textiles. To learn more about these topics, please visit us at the Lenzing booth D07 in Hall E. You can also find 23 Lenzing Innovation Mills around the booth. This seminar is being videotaped, and you'll see it on the media link at media.lenzing.com. There's also a media card outside of the seminar room. For Carved in Blue information, there's also a media card outside the seminar room. Today we are presenting Luis Gerin, Gregory, Lamaud, Texworld USA Art Directors, Autumn-Winter 2018 Fabric Trends. Learn and be inspired by fabric trends for the upcoming season. Join Texworld USA Art Directors for an introduction to the leading trend themes of the season, including moods, color, alliances, and palettes, textures, and specific aspects. Welcome, Luis Gerin. Thank you.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. Nice to see that this seminar is very crowded. First of all, let me introduce myself. So I'm Louis Gerin. I work with my team as the art director and Gregory Lamaud as the art director of the Texworld brands worldwide, Paris and USA, as well the Addis Ababa. The particularity of our trend table is that we are an independent group of what we call free thinker, composed of author, social analyzed, and as well designer, stylist, and we set this trend as an analysis of our current mood, of our social evolution, of the social evolution of our world, to restitute to you. So the very important aspect of our trend is that you have to take it like an inspiration for your upcoming collection and your creation, and absolutely not like diktat rules as a marketing assessment for the development of product. It's really like to free your mind and inspire you to the max. So let me introduce the theme of this autumn-winter season, which is Ex-Aequo. We will have two parts in this presentation. First, we will see what we call the leading theme-based collection guide, the thematics. It means all the aspects that will matter us during this upcoming season. And then in a second part, we will see how these topics are matching, going together to create the trend concept of the season. A little word on this thematics and the development of the trends. It's entitled, of course, for the autumn-winter 2018-19, but in the reality, these trends will be developed in the market from the next 2 months until the summer 19. So we have no a more longer development of the influence into the market with an overlapping of the season. So now we focus on this period that we still call the autumn-winter, but in the reality it's much more developed in the inspiration. The theme of the season, Ex-Aequo. I will read you a short introduction. All things are equal. All things are of equal value. Hierarchies have collapsed. Today, everyone can decide what is beautiful, what is true. An objection is no longer part of this world. The majority has been too great a disappointment, for now on each opinion counts. Thus, values fade. Beauty and ugliness are no more longer opposite, no longer exist, no more than truth and untruth, strength and weakness, the old and the modern, the people as free its words, and the world has entered an unprecedented cacophony. No sorting, no filter, all is said, all is accomplished. Freedom and equality are no longer tempered by solidarity, but are exacerbated by individualism. I think, therefore I yell. The true has become a plural. No one is wrong any longer, since everyone is right. This era is no longer one of debates, but of demand. Each individual has become its own master and its own slave. That's really the sense of this Ex-Aequo word. It's a Latin allocution that we use in French to express that there is no winner, there is no loser. It's an expression that we really use during many times during sports game. When there is equality during the match, we said it's the next Echo. So we don't have this idea of losing or winning. It's really that everybody is right, nobody is wrong. Everything is going to go together. So now we will go through the thematics and these things that are matters. So this first part, you don't have it in the book, so so it will be like an introduction. Sorry, I just drink a slap of water. So in this thematics, we will see that the doors of possibilities has been opened, that the world has become a maelstrom everyone can tap into. Past, forgotten, depreciated heritage find the space to express themselves. Reborn from the ashes of collective memory, they are at disposal. They are here beside the most insane innovation. Because this new world is also a chance to reinvent everything, a chance that many seize. And as with the rules of our time, everyone has the right to assert their truth. Guarantor of innovation, as well as guard of ancient know-how, in each field, the past and the future seems to be embracing each other. Distance and closeness, beauty and ugliness. Humanity is experiencing its big crunch. Everything is reunited in only one point, perhaps the best definition of the present, of our presence. So what we will see in these thematics in 4 aspects. First, we will see the aesthetic aspect, then the spatial aspect, the cultural, and then the elementary. We will see that we have a very big notion of heritage and severance, something that expresses that people want to follow what have been done in the past, to continue this heritage of our cultural society. And in another aspect, we want severance. We want a strong rupture with our past to create this new world. So first, this aesthetic heritage will drive us into an authentic canworks, a remembering of these traditional techniques, like the furnituring, like the in the center, the Marni bag that we see, a kind of ancestral know-how that we are repeating through our modern technique to create the new aesthetic. We have as well this what we call this empirical marquetry as a thanks to our past, as well the woven shell has a remembering of our knitting past and the link between the past and this new future present. We can focus a little bit on this work of the R&D studio, where the cold and the street moving into the cocoon, this very modern creation design, where canworks is mixing with new materials into a new way to create this new aesthetic heritage of our past. In this aesthetic, we will have, of course, a severance as well, this flexible transition where the support are no more what they are, where the strong became the mold, when the force became a weakness, where the support became the art itself. Everything's melt together, and the transition became more flexible. As well, to be more connected with this effective transformation, we will see a lot of floral fusion, like in the Fabio Vogel work that you have in the center, this vase made of imprint of flowers, the trace of the vegetable that has become the content of the vegetable themselves. Or as well this sophisticated tearing, this rupture, this destruction that create by a new assemblage, the new aesthetic for tomorrow. A very strong, a very raw, a very ruptured aspect that are guided us into a new form for tomorrow. The plant hybridation as well will drive us into this effective transformation through this transition into our new future. As well, on a special aspect, we will see that our heritage will focus on on the observation of our spatial environment through a craft fighter, a raw fighter that permits us to observe the world in a different way, a way which is not transformed by a virtual reality, but with a reality that exists but transform our vision in something different. We can focus on the right, for example, on the work of Michael Farrell and Cliff Haynes, this straw camera. It consists into an assemblage, a group of straw that create a kind of, as you see on the right, the result, a pattern, pixelated, natural pixelated filter that are present in our life. So this craft filter will as well revelating a new frame. We are so much using a camera, capturing new pictures, having new image surrounding us, that we are due to see a new framing of your life, a revealing frame of this spatial environment that surround us. This spatial environment is as well a kind of new observation, a revelation of the different spatial layers that are surrounding us. A lot of 3D plan aesthetic will raise through and following, of course, this I don't remember, this glitch art or all this digital art that making the deformation of the image a kind of new vision of our reality, of our spatial environment. As well, everything is only possible with the light, this natural light that is enlightened world that permits us to see what happened all around us, and we will be very sensitive as well to all this astral projection, the light of the moon, like in these central pieces, this wood Lamaud conquest of the space eagle lamp, which is a kind of reflection about the lighting of the moon, or this installation that you have on the full right, which is from Philip K. Smith on Laguna Beach, California, a kind of reflection and three-dimensional rays of our spatial environment. So all these little aspects as well that in this craft filter idea, this vision, this unnoblish vision of our spatial environment, like the word of Le Diamantaire, a French street artist, which is disposing into the world, especially into Paris, some kind of diamond shape where you can see the city through and have through this craft filter a new vision of your spatial environment to reveal a new vision of the reality around us, not an virtual reality, but a physical transformation reality by the physical element, a craft filter. Then we have, of course, in this special aspect, this severance, this rupture, this decomposition of our world, this critical deconstruction that we raised all around us to destroy the wall, to break the wall. And here in the United States, it means a lot, break the wall. We have a little glimpse on that with the little drawing from their postillon, remembering an IKEA notice to build this border wall in the name of IKEA. You need, like, for example, 4,071 screw and 1,000,000.8 element as element to build this not existing wall, but has a really critical aspect of our building world, of our frontier world, of this thing that are around us. We have as well this artwork that has been done in Paris that you can see on the right, which is called Le Radeau de Lampedusa. It's a street art illustrating the dramatic situation of this breaking border, the migrant situation, this terrific aspect where we close too much the eyes on it, and to open us and to warn us on what's really happening around us. So a critical deconstruction of our world, like a graphic weft to see and to understand to what is surrounding us, how we are constructing, how we are building, how the frame is coming, and how the reality is coming to us. As this precious backstage, a very important topic of the season, where we will put on the first row what is already hidden. We will have a lot of golden elements, the golden trashes, the golden element of the construction. The backstage will be always put on first row, like the backdrop, the reveals of what is behind, what is hidden all the time. It's something that we will re-put on the front as a new aesthetic. All this is coming together because we have a big trend actually that's saying that the pure aesthetic, what we said and what we socially accepted as beautiful, as raffinate, as luxury, is no more intended to be. Everything has the right to be precious, everything has the right to be on the first row, everything has the right to be elegant. On the cultural aspect, we will have and we will follow our heritage on our thanks, stabilized, okay. We will have, we will have this prime totem theme, which will matter us a lot as a kind of remembering of our roots, that we are part and that we are the child of someone else, that we have ancestor behind us, that we have a kind of ancestral transmission into a modern way. We can notice the work on the right of the studio job, the tree of life, a mixed technique composed of different elements to create a kind of new totem, a kind of new god, a god without any reference to a cultural past, but a god that we can follow in the future to guide us in this. As well, we will see the very raw totem, like on the right, like the totem pole model by Ex-Aequo in the Tico collection, Foundation of Art, which is not an ancestral or an antiques, but the reality of the development of what we can bring as a modern artifact for our future. The Unmissable portal will be as well a very important theme. This round form has the transition into a future, this window open in our future, this operculus open to the sky, this vision into the future will be as well a very important cultural aesthetic element that we will follow as an heritage. The ornamental twist, this twist ornamental, where we will mix and match the traditional techniques with the modern conception, like this imprint collection from IKEA, this collaboration between the graphic spread and IKEA, intended to the millennials, is a kind of comeback of this ancestral pattern that we find as a traditional decoration, but adapted to the new generation as a kind of heritage of traditions. As well, in the middle, we can notice this very interesting work of Craig and Carl, which is called Optimistic Guatemala, a giant tepish that uses the traditional technique of Guatemala techniques for carpet, but in a very modern way, expressing a pixelated, colorful vision of the culture. The classical distortion as well, because we have in our heritage a lot of classic elements that will go through. Perhaps this craft fighter that we have seen before, and this modern way, this decomposition of the element, this distortion of the reality that we expect for our future. When we observe from close, we have another vision, and it's this other vision, this twist into the classic that we will introduce as well into the season. We can notice very well in this heritage a very important work for the influence and the aesthetic of the season, the Jeffrey Gibson Prime Totem. It's the Jeffrey. It's called. Jeffrey Gibson Totem. Born in Colorado, Jeffrey Gibson spent part of his childhood in Korea and Germany. Cactus and Cherokee blood runs into his vein. Mix of culture, this artist knows what that means. Or perhaps he does not know, as when he's unaware of what is in made. His punching bags are make this obvious, a mix of this symbol of the popular culture. We eat like an outlet, like personify evil, an open door toward a controlled world, and of the old totem that we consult like an outlet, like a divine personification, open door towards a higher world. Contradictory, complementary, impossible to say. Jeffrey Gibson leaves things open to interpretation because today nothing is definite. So in this piece of art, we have really this actual mix between everything. A simple hit bag can become a piece of art. A brand is elevated to an art piece as well. Ancestral know-how are mixing with commercial and industrial process to create this kind of raw new totem for this future, new artifact for our future. The cultural aspect rupture, this cultural severance will express in this many pagan icon that will be over-represented, like in the work of Camillo, or this picture of this crest, which is introduced into the modernity of our urban life, a kind of joint venture between our past and our present, our believed and our reality, our soul and our materiality. It's really this a kind of screaming protestation that we will find through a lot of really strong message that will be displayed all over the aesthetic. This ordinary claim, nothing is ordinary. I love you so bad. See exit, like there is no way to say. Okay, as a reference, you see this very interesting on the top. Varva and Mar piece of art, which is called Who is the Next? So we have the Brexit. Now we speak perhaps about perhaps a Frexit, a Jerexit. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow. We have today the use exit from the Paris accordance. The agreement that has been taken in the past are broken, new agreements are making together. There is no more continuity, no more line, no more red line that we can trust in it, because there is no more linearity in this world. Everything can happen at every moment, so it's always the moment to claim. To claim is really the mood and sorry, the mood and the deep protestation of this young generation that we call today the digital native or the millennials. This unreverence, unreverence, unpolite reference to our past, this unpolite reference to our present, this broken up aesthetic which is coming to, yes, to yell this protestation over and over to say, I exist, I'm in the present, and I'm being no more like the past generation, I'm a new generation, I'm a digital native, I'm a millennials. This temporal junction as well will be fine as a funny tricks to our modern world. We can see it in this different piece of art from Alex Kandalov or from Daven Potolart that are mixing traditional classics that we have seen a little bit before in this classical distortion, this temporal junction, this joint venture between our past and our present, an unfortunate meeting, an unexpected meeting between two periods that are already happening in our future. Perhaps we will be able in the future to join the past, something that perhaps the millennials want to express. Even if we care a lot about which is new with all this innovation, we don't have to forget that the elementary aspect, that the existential element are still around us. So we will find a lot of this mineral furrow in the inspiration, like the work on the right middle of Mathieu Le Hanner for the No Glue restaurant in Paris. This mineral flow which is fixed in the time and that remember us that we still have a past, that the time is passing, is not fixed, but we can still see it. As well, the work of Cat Coquillette, these gold tree rings that are really elevated as a piece of art to remember us the past, the time who passed and continue through us without any reference to who we are. The nature, it means that the nature continue his flow, we continue our existence, and we have to be aware of that. It's not because we want to pause, that we want to stop, that everything will stop around us. We have to be we have to have a reverence to that. As well, in this strong world, we want today this protective bubble. We want to feel protected. We want to feel in security. We have to accept that this strong and aggressive environment, this environment that has made us, can as well protect us. This protective bubble, as well, with one of the hit and top piece of art of the season, the Nadine Gopfert memory foam pullover that you have on the right, is a very important aesthetic aspect of this wavy, protective, and yes, protective bubble. As well, the eternal genetic. As we have said, time pass, we can do nothing on that. We always want to stop, we always want to come back, but we are no more in the acceptance of this old vieillissement, this process of getting old, and that it's a process that impacts everybody and which is no more related to ugliness or beautifulness. It's really something that follow and go into the social mind, into something it's a very new idea. Youngs are no more ignorance, old are no more overpassed, all the generation are joined together, and there is no more age frontier or limit to think of something or to something else. As a rupture in this elementary element, and it will be our last point for this thematics, we had this we had this blurred flow, because we can't see so well how tomorrow is driving us. We don't want to face so well what happening into our future. We don't see exactly where the road is driving us, and it's what exactly these artists are expressing. The left presentation from Tsutsumi and Associate Anza's dance studio is a blurred mirror, half blurred mirror, that lets you think that you are in a defined space, which is not totally defined, because you cannot take all the dimension of the space you are. It's totally blurred, your view and your mind. You don't know how it's constructed, because it's exactly what you are inside. We don't know exactly where we go, but we go. We are a little bit lost. That's what we are looking with this new spatial planning research. For example, the Zoo Studio research on new way to stand, a new way to occupy the space, to be isolated in a space or to be all together in a space. We stand up for millions of years, no, not millions of years, thousands of years. We sit when we are tired, we lie down when we want to sleep. Perhaps there is many other positions. Perhaps we can disrupt it with this way to behave, this way to stand in our life, to go in our future. As well, perhaps the solution is also to burn everything, to crush everything, and from this burn, this crash can be created a new aesthetic, because from like the phoenix, which is coming back when he died from the ashes are coming some many interesting aesthetic and new things. It's the example of on the left, the James Bamford imperfect detachment, which is using a burning aspect to create a border, a very tiny detail, very refined detail to create the new aesthetic for tomorrow. I can focus as well on this very interesting piece of art from Bauer and Bowman. It's the memorial dedicated to Lady Diana. Nothing is ever as simple, as smooth as man would like to have believed. Humanity is starting to realize that. The universe wants to use this opportunity to further prove its complexity. Like the water of the Lady Di Memorial in London, following in sometimes perfect ground, sometimes chaotic broad or narrow, using level the current accelerate or slow down, like an image of a human life changing, as strong and unacceptable as a water current. Nothing is set, everything moves. The Memorial of the Princess of Wales is a work financed by the public of historical mobilization and generosity, expressing this turbulent life, expressing this moment where it's a continuity of flow, a circle of energy, which is not regular, that can go down, up, that we don't know, as I just said. We cannot follow today a red line like we had in the past, a trace future that has been arranged. Everything can can collapse and broke up at every moment, just as is life, just as the fragility of the life, something that we have really to be aware in this next future. Now we will see how this idea, that this strange and complex idea are coming together to create the trend concept of the season. We asserted horizontally, but it exceeds our hopes, exceeds social organization to infiltrate in all the layers of our existence. We killed the kings, God, the icon, the elite, the people imposed laws. Internet slipped absolute knowledge into everyone's pocket. Hierarchy gradually lost a level rage, hence everyone in his possession of the weapon of their own universe. A multitude of certainties are exposed to each other with their own balance, their own law, without ever thinking it to total anarchies. There is nothing more to prove, it is enough to just be. In one last surge, the old system attempts to tell everyone they are right. The individual is glorified in a sometimes real, sometimes fictitious originality. The world is shooting that we are all extraordinary, and we decide to believe it, even if it means forgetting that what is extraordinary cannot that be common. And that will drive us into our first trend theme of this season, is the obviously common. We just have said that there is no more rules in the aesthetic to express us what is beautiful, what is no more beautiful. There is much more ordinary thing in our life than extraordinary aspect. So why not the ordinary will not become the extraordinary? Why not a simple piece of paper cannot be the pattern of our life? Why not a white page cannot become a piece of art, like a very a master, like a master, a master canvas. It's really this expression of a deep idea of the reality, of a deep experience of the reality, of what we are experiencing day after day, us by us. This ordinary squealing, sorry, I just have a problem. It's broken. Yes. This ordinary squealing, this urban stacking, this muzzle addition, this highlighted underside, unreached engraving, unstuck tag will be so much element that we have in our everyday life and just forget to show up, to see as beautiful element of our creation, that everything is everything which is basic and surrounding us are part of our reality, and our reality is beautiful if we decide that it is. As well, things are interesting if we decide that they are, and if we decide that they are not, they just become boring and ununderstandable. In terms of color, I just invite you to see the right color in the book, because the projection is not so good. We will refer to this urban foliage, this concrete recycling, this urban fabric, this triple softness that we have in our everyday life, this triple horizon, this morose ceiling of the sky which is surrounding us every day and driving us into the future of our ordinary life. On the denim aspect, we have focused on this idea of a sedimentary flow and urban fabrics that will mix together into something very ordinary, but that became much more than the simple ordinary everyday colors, and then just upgrade to the beautifulness of the basics. So this transverse reality, this parallel revelation, this tangible overlap, as we have said, material damage, manifold oddity, transcendent chaos, will be the keyword of this theme, of this obviously common element that we want to bring all together to create the new aesthetic for tomorrow. In this ordinary element, of course, we have to not mix all together and not to meld all together. If we want to bring everything together, we don't want to mold them together. It's really this idea and this difference between a melting pot and a salad bowl. Today, we don't want to melt everything in each other. We really want to see each element, how they are, and to bring them all together into a new one, to create a real new one mix of elements that are clearly identified. A new mix and match, a new mix and match by association and not by melding. A saturated peel, a digital supreme, a virtual abyss, a sparkling thread, a wooded pixel that are coming together to create the breaking down number aesthetic, where things are like they are, each to their place, right side by side, to create a new one, a new whole that is not that is not melded and not lost the identity of each thing. This naive construction, this elegant stratification, this artistic dissection of the element will be the keywords for this broken down numbers aesthetic that will bring elements side by side and raise them to construct our new future. Then this will drive us to this mixed reasoning aspect, because if everyone wants to be right, it means that everyone to express what they say. To express what you say, you have to fight for it, you have to cry for it, you have to claim for it. It's a very strong expression of this struggle for life situation that we have actually. Everyone wants to express his own conviction, everyone has to fight for his own conviction. Not everybody is an elite, not everybody has the power to decide for the other, so everybody just has to take the lead on his own destiny, just like in a sports game when you enter and fight into this different element. Visibly today I'm really not interesting. I'm so sorry. In terms of color, we will have this contrast between these strong dark tones and as well this light and pastel message that we want. Because even if we have sweet things to say, we have to claim them with a lot of force, with a lot of strength. That's why we get this colorful and powerful balance, a kind of again, just please look at the book and not on the screen. This strong balance of color that are expressing our desire of a better future that we have to fight for. But it's a very contradictory, it's a very strong contradiction, because we want to have peace and we have to fight for that. So it's really this expression and that fighting for peace, fighting in a fair way, screaming to our idea that the color are expressing in this mixed reasoning theme. The popular performance, the experimental tradition, the elitist profanity, the triumphing truth are really strong keywords to express this assumed audacity of our desire to evolve to something other, to something new, to express ourselves as an individuality, as an individual message that we want to share with the rest of our world. And that would drive us into our last trend team in decomplexed exclusiveness, because if we have became if we have a message to claim, we have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in our ego, and it's no more a negative aspect than to be selfish. We can see it through, for example, the Instagram social situation, where people just have the chance to become someone where they are just an ordinary people. The ordinary became extraordinary. The personality of each one as an ordinary element became an extraordinary element. It's not an artificial. It's like the artificial notoriety that we are creating to this social media and all this virtual aspect that translate into this real aesthetic with all this this contrast between the dark shade and the gold aspect as a reflect of ourself and all these skin tones that are mixing all together and that are staying side by side. This carnal pigmentation, magnified dermis, delicate, weaker, fragile leather, fair albinos, clayed makeup, all these skin tone skin tones, all this color of skin that are equal and that are no more a kind of a classification. This, this flowered search, this luxurious ideology, this ghostly elitism, this lunar source, this smooth skein word, this luminous ray, invaluable selfie, are such elements that are pushing us to express our ego and our personality. The loneliness, jaws, the infinite ego, as we just said, ostentation, demand, artificial prominence are just the keyword for this, indecomplexed exclusiveness. The star color of the season will express this claim and this desire for individual expression, the individual expression staying side by side, not melded, as we said, all together. Everything became equal, everything has been reviewed case by case. For centuries, man has been fighting against the difference of the caste of hierarchy by access to other, to knowledge, to communication. We are leveling the last bumps, but one question remains: what is this horizontality at end in itself? Tomorrow, humanity could rediscover that all things are not of equal value, that truth and beauty well exist, even if they are subjective. Then, after having viewing all that it's possible, man will recreate a new hierarchy, a more just one perhaps, more flexible. But this horizontality could just as easily, but this horizontality could just as easily last, or harden heaven. In this multitude of truths where nobody is wrong, cohabitation is only possible between individuals sharing the same opinions. The world will then give up utopia of universalism together by group, place of safety, where anyone agrees, where everyone is alike. The path to a more restricted, surer happiness, perhaps more real. Is the glorified individual the star which will clarify all future, or is it a simple shooting star? That's what we don't know, and that's what we are looking just to find tomorrow in this deep multiplicity of elements. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to Steph, for the one who stayed. I know it was a little bit like kind of witchery talk, but you can find really the deeper explanation when you read back the text quietly in the book and see the image that are corresponding. The complexity of this season is really that all this element has no more the deepness, not the deepness, but the sense than they had before. We are really in a global mix of everything, and that's why it's so melded all together, and why all the ideas are turning and nearly having nonsense, because we are trying to create a new sense with all that we already have.
Oh, it was just a question. I wanted to know, was this meant to be metallic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You find it if you have on the last page the Pantone, on the last page on the book, you will find all the Pantone corresponding, and this one, the 131010, is really a metallic fade gold. So the gold is still, yes, in this last indecomplexed exclusiveness color range, a very important aspect that will match with the, and opposite with the skin tones and the natural tones in opposition in something alive and something dead. Like the mirror, you look at it. Thank you so much.